Okay, thank you so much. It's one of the excellent webinar, and it's combining lots of stakeholders, I should say. I'm working on the DRR education for last 3-4 years in this region. And this is one of the excellent activity by UNESCO and also by Miyagi University. Just for, I mean, a change, my presentation will primarily focus on the higher education institution. Till so far in the morning today, we have discussed about the school, how to reopen and what are the problems we are facing right now in the situation of COVID, and some additional disasters. But we have some study and some projects. So I'd like to discuss the hands-on experience, what we have received from this region. My point is like how the higher education is placed in this region. We're talking about DRR, disaster risk reduction, a lot, but how it will be propagated to the society. If there is no degree on disaster, if there is no job market in the disaster, then who will take that degree and how it will propagate? School is one option. Then after school, we also need the higher education to develop a breed of disaster managers through systematic education. So we have tried to study that through one of the project. It's called ProsperNet, and Miyagi is throughout our project partner, and there are some other university, KO universities also there. Okay, so while discussing, I'd like to highlight there is a need for multidisciplinary approach on education. Education cannot be one-sided, like very compartmentalized, especially for the disaster. Disaster education is sort of a combination of different subjects. So if I'm masters in sort of a particular subject, say computer science, or maybe GIS and remote sensing, or maybe soil engineering, or structural engineering, or geology, or biotechnology, that may not suffice the purpose to solve the problem of the disaster management related things, because disaster management is a multi-pronged approach. Like we need multiple knowledge and information. So right now you might have observed through the COVID situation, like COVID is not only the public health disaster, is also economic disaster, it's also social disasters. There is no infrastructure damage throughout the globe for this COVID directly, but there is a huge amount of loss in terms of economy. It's quite different than other disasters. So we need to have different type of approach. You need to understand different subjects. So higher education institution is one of the key player to support this, along with the schools, because school is basically develop the base of the society, and that also develop the culture of risk information. So Japan is quite advanced in this sense to develop that risk knowledge, and also that we call risk behavior. So people are getting risk behavior from the childhood. So our risk perception while growing will be different. So what we have observed in Japan context, in many of the countries, also following from the childhood, like from the school level, some disaster related education and some practices. So they are following, and in the long run for the higher education also, it will be followed by their practices and behavior on the risk behavior, we should say. And education is one of the key player also for the sustainable development, that also we need to highlight. So I'll explain a little bit more on what actually we observed in terms of higher education, why and how it is I mean, how the institutes in this region are placed. So we had a project called Higher Education Institute on Disaster Resilience and Sustainable Development Initiative in 2018 with KO University, Universities in Malaysia, and Miyagi University. And we tried to understand how the higher education institutions are actually contributing to the DRR education in this region. So we took about 25. We spread our initiative to the region, and we have received about response from 25 university as a HEI member, Higher Education Institution Network member. So about 25 universities in this region. If you see like this part is primarily Asia Pacific, and some response we have received from US as well. Uh, and that response I'll explain a little bit in detail here. What we observed through our survey, through that particular university, to the faculty especially. There are most of the universities, like 58% universities responded that like they are offering some master degree program which is relevant with the disaster management related activities. And there are some programs also on the undergraduate level and doctoral level also. But I think there is quite a lot of gap. We observe like 15% in postgraduate and also the certificate and professional masters. So this part is little bit of lagging what we have observed to the institutional survey. Need to be improved, because many of the times like the people who are already in the disaster management related departments, they don't have time to spend like 3 years or 2 years continuously. It's difficult sometimes in terms of his personal commitment and also the professional commitment. So we need to promote some of the education which that type of group, like those who are professional, can take up. So AIT as a regional institution and regional commitment and also global commitment, we are trying to enrich this type of activities. I'll explain in the later stage. Through our department, like disaster management program, we are offering like on the higher degrees of different types. And on the right side, these are the different disaster management courses the universities are teaching. So we have seen like many of the courses are covering earthquake related courses, and also the hydrometeorological courses like climatology and weather forecasting and related type of topics. This is again like some more interesting points, like cross learning or exchange of faculty and exchange of students. So how we are placed most of the time in the developing world, especially in the Southeast Asia, we have seen if there is no support or scholarship, it's very difficult for the students and faculty also to visit other university and exchange of knowledge other than this e-platform. E-platform is good, but I believe like still the physical type of meeting and physical type of involvement is much more effective than e-learning platform. But in there are many constraints also on the physical learning. So we have learned like there are quite a lot of universities organization in this group who are supporting the faculty visit supported by the institution. And there are some national level scholarship also, which are supporting that disaster related degrees and programs. And there are some institutional level scholarships also available in these universities where we are promoting DRR education on the higher education level. Linking with that, we have organized a very large scale international symposium, physical symposium. Online symposium was not very much popular before COVID. And now I think most of the symposium and conference are online. That international symposium we organized here in AIT last year. It's about 62 universities participated here, about 77 technical presentation and plenary sessions. And right now we are planned a book with Elsevier as an outcome of this symposium. It's with about 33 chapters. Book is coming out very soon, by end of this year possibly. So this is the photograph of that symposium. Okay, and during the symposium, we also tried to get some more information, like 87 responses we received for certain things. And then some of the points I'll discuss in the next slide. There are regional participation. You can see like, and which region participated most, like 38% from the South Asia, 31% from Southeast Asia, and Asia Pacific region is about 31, although Asia Pacific region covers some of the Southeast Asian part as well. Okay, so while we have tried with the survey with the scholars or the experts on DRR during the conference, we have received interesting information. Like there are about most of the universities that participants are belongs to are primarily focusing on the climate modeling, weather forecasting, decision support system, and remote sensing and GIS related courses. So the technical courses are more sort of popular in many of the universities, while the soft skill also is there, but the soft skill also is limited to certain extent, like communication skills and monitoring and evaluation part is a bit low. Sorry. And this is one of the comparison between how our course curriculum is placed in terms of the SFDRR and also in terms of the SDGs. So in that case, we have also observed, like if you see, we also put the humanitarian assistance, IDP, conflict, and public health risk. So it's a very good response, actually. Very good response, like universities are interested on the research and they are pursuing some research on the public health. Especially in AIT, we are doing a lot on public health related research in Africa and also Thailand. We also tried with the preferred method of instructions. There are quite a lot of response we received from the hybrid courses. And remember, this survey we have done in 2019, last year. There was no COVID situation. And during that time also, we have received quite a lot of interest, preferred method of instruction. So either that institutes are already following some sort of method on online classroom teaching type of process, or they are interested. So this type of response is very encouraging to understand, like if there is some sort of problem like this today we are facing, the institute is some extent equipped, or they can change, adapt that system very easily. Okay. So after getting, there are lots of information, lots of survey result, but it will be quite boring also to continuously get that type of graphs. There are some publication coming up very shortly. Possibly you will also get that all detail in that publication in terms of the higher education institution involvement in the region. So as as an amalgamation of all this process, what we can understand, the interdisciplinary type of subject is very much necessary. And this is the structure, is combining more than two subjects. And interdisciplinary subject research opens up new sources and methodologies beyond those found in a single discipline, obviously. So we have to have some sort of combination of different subjects. But acceptability by the institution, by the institutional process, is sometimes difficult to approve that different that interdisciplinary type nature of sort of process. But now I think is more open. Universities are now opening up. Okay, so as I mentioned, like we are practicing this interdisciplinary activities not as a theory, is a practice. Like last 12 years, AIT is promoting disaster preparedness, mitigation, and management degree program. And Miyagi University, especially Dr. Takashi Oda, is also visiting faculty for AIT. Came on and off in AIT as a to teach some of the subjects. So we are combining this course, this program, on the social science and engineering together. So the students from engineering background, they are also studying the disaster management. Student from social science background is also studying the disaster management program in the same degree program. So the course we are designed already, and also I'm helping to design courses in other university as well, so that it will support the intention of or the background of both the sides of students, like the students from social science and also from the natural science or engineering. So this is the process interdisciplinary we are in practice. So just I would like to highlight. Then this is almost the last slide, and there are few announcement slide after that. So to moving forward, what are the necessary things we need to see? Actually, we need internal and transboundary joint curriculum and mobilization support for the student exchange and faculty exchange. curriculum development based on the regional, national, and local level needs. I think I was following the chat box, I mean, question answers, Q&A, there are some queries like this. So I believe the person who posted this query from New Delhi, India, possibly will be help you to get your answer through this. So curriculum development is not only sort of broad based; it should be region specific and also customized based on the local context. Developing joint degree program with multiple competent institutions. So like 2 university or 3 university can come together and exercise their expertise and develop a joint sort of courses. So we are also practicing that joint courses with other university. Like part of the course you will learn University A and part of the course you will learn in University B, and at the end of the 2 years or 3 years, whatever is the degree you are getting, you will get a combined degree from both the university affiliated. So this type of model also we are trying to follow, and we thought like it's a quite a good option instead of developing your capacity to be beyond your limit. So we can exercise the capacity or the expertise of other university as well. So that is one of the method, and we can apply. Transboundary mobility of the student and faculty also need to be encouraged. That we are also trying. We are trying with, we have a continuous program with Kyoto University. We have a continuous program with some of the Chinese university, sending students, selected students to their place for a few weeks. And obviously it is supported. And inclusion of the vocational training and hands-on skill during the course curriculum. It's not only the classroom teaching. I believe like disaster management is all about practice. So unless you are exposed to the real situation, it's very difficult for that student to understand the real situation of disaster. So in our course also we are also encouraging students to take part in internship or work with the organization who are right now working on the disaster management related activities. And also the higher education institution involvement with the community outreach, what Professor Rajiv Shaw was also mentioning at the very beginning. Like connecting the community is also very much important. So how we'll connect? We connect, I mean, what will be the method? What will be the process of the connection? So in the higher education institution can play a major role. They can go to the community, they can develop their project courses and the field work to the community to connect. So we are some extent following through the, because of the time I cannot share everything in this presentation, but certainly in some forum actually I'll try to share. Okay. Linking with that, our present activity with ProsperNet project is, you can see like it's ongoing, and it's also one of the activity right now we are participating in this webinar. That is actually the next step after developing the network of the 25 university. We're trying to expand that university list, and we'll circulate again that questionnaire very shortly to the universities, those who are interested to take part in that higher education institution network. They can also join. To get updated information and the course curriculum and other things on the disaster related things. And the second, also we are trying to develop a course or curriculum which will sort of we call model course curriculum on disaster risk reduction. So that is in the process, and I believe UNESCO Jakarta office is also very much interested of this type of activities, and in future also will be developing this type of more multidisciplinary and coordinated effort to develop the course curriculum. So these are the broad objectives of the present program or the project. Right now we are with ProsperNet, UN University Tokyo is supporting this project. Okay. As a part of this, we also thought of like we'll do 2-stage survey. UNESCO already have developed a couple of reports, but this is not the replication of the report. This is actually the hands-on or the direct information from the stakeholders. So we have divided into 2 aspects, like education disruption and institutional resilience for this COVID situation, right? So we'll do two stages, like one is a higher education institution, another is a school level institution organization. So for the COVID pandemic. And as discussed in today's morning, our core group meeting with UNESCO, we are also planning this DRR education webinar series. So this is the first today's webinar is the first one of the series. Next month is another one is coming up. That announcement also I'll show you. And there are about 5 interesting webinar on DRR education of different topics, right? So those who are interested, please register, and the announcement will be available in UNESCO, ProsperNet, and AITU websites. This is our next one is a tentative poster of the next webinar. Everything will be finalized, and very shortly it will be announced through UNESCO and other websites. Okay, thank you so much.